There are women who don't need to do anything extreme. Just letting them into your life is enough for everything to start falling apart. Your career, your freedom, your self-respect, each one slowly eroded, and you don't even notice it happening. Not because she's toxic, but because you're weak. Too weak to walk away, too weak to face the truth, and worse, too weak to choose again. You can be smart, you can be successful, but if you choose the wrong woman, your life will still fall to pieces. In this video, I'm going to break down 7 types of women a man should never, ever get involved with. Not out of hate, but for survival. If you've ever loved the wrong one, ever hit emotional rock bottom, or ever lost yourself in the process, you need to stay for this. Clarity starts here. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and like if you're new here. It helps me keep bringing you more valuable content. There's a type of woman who won't blow your life up in some dramatic explosion. No, it bleeds you slowly, day after day, silently, like being poisoned in small doses. It's the woman with a victim mentality, the one who's never wrong, never takes responsibility, and always finds someone else to carry the weight of her tragic past that she clings to like a twisted badge of honor. She'll unload a mountain of sad stories, abused by family, betrayed by friends, tormented by exes. And you, driven by that male instinct to rescue someone, will take the bait immediately. You think you're the special one, the one who can heal her, the one who's not like the other guys. But here's the truth. She doesn't want to heal. She doesn't want out. Because in her world, misery is currency. It's leverage. It's her excuse to not try, not grow, not change. And you, if you're not sharp, will become the next one she blames when it all falls apart. This isn't a woman looking for love. She's looking for a witness. Someone to stand by and validate her. You're right. Poor you. The world is cruel. And if you don't set boundaries, you'll get sucked into that emotional black hole. You'll start feeling guilty for not being able to fix her. You'll start carrying both your emotions and hers, worrying about a future with someone who doesn't even want to move forward. And eventually you'll become her reflection. Negative, drained, bitter. Worst of all, by the time you realize what's happening, you're no longer yourself. You've lost your edge, your fire, your discipline. All because you've spent so much time trying to regulate the emotions of someone who has zero intention of being stable. And when you're drained, she'll leave. Just like she left everyone else before you. One more sob story to add to her collection. If you're a man, it's not your job to carry the weight of the world. And it's definitely not your duty to absorb someone's bitterness just because they've been hurt. Everyone has a past, but not everyone weaponizes it to avoid the present. Pay attention. A mature woman says, "I've been hurt, but I'm learning to move on." The victim says, "I'm like this because..." You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. And men don't die on the battlefield. They die stuck in the wrong relationship they never had the guts to walk away from. Want to be strong? Start by cutting ties with people who are weak but addicted to being pitied. Don't play the savior. Be the man who knows exactly where his mind, heart, and energy belong. And she, the woman with the victim mentality, is not that place. Nothing destroys a man's self-respect and freedom faster than a woman who knows how to manipulate emotions. She doesn't need to scream, she doesn't need to throw jealous fits, and she doesn't need to use force. All it takes is a cold stare, a prolonged silence, or a perfectly timed tear. And you, the guy who thought he was tough, will start doubting yourself. She controls you by making you feel like, if she's upset, it must be your fault. She doesn't have to say it directly. She just drops a soft little line like, "It's okay, I'm used to it." Sounds noble, but it's actually a dagger straight to your psyche, a slow psychological bleed. And because you don't want to hurt her, you step right into a no-win guilt game, a game she created and controls. You start apologizing for things you didn't even do wrong. You start asking permission for the smallest actions, where you go, who you see, who you text. Every word you say gets twisted into something negative. Why did you say that? Are you implying I'm not good enough? And now you feel obligated to explain, to clarify, to reassure, to apologize again. You're not living anymore. you're defending. Every day becomes a battle to keep her from being upset, angry, or hurt. She makes you think you have freedom, but you don't. Every time you do something for yourself, she acts disappointed, distant, or mildly depressed. You're not allowed to be free. You're trained to take responsibility for her emotional state. It's a crushing weight, invisible, but suffocating. If you suspect you're in a relationship like this, ask yourself, when was the last time you actually felt like yourself? When was the last time you spoke your mind without worrying you'd be dissected? When was the last time you did what you wanted without having to report it? The emotional manipulator doesn't love you. She loves control. She loves being able to change your behavior with nothing more than silence or a guilt-ridden glare. And every time you give in, she becomes more certain of her power. You need to understand this. Other people's emotions are their responsibility. If you've genuinely disrespected, lied, or harmed someone, you deserve to be called out. But if you're simply living your truth and the other person keeps feeling hurt by it, that's on them, not you. A mature woman will communicate. A manipulative woman will punish. She'll never clearly say she wants you to change. She'll just make you feel guilty for being yourself. That's the most insidious and toxic strategy there is. The only way out is to stop playing her game. Stop apologizing for how someone else feels. Stop walking on eggshells to maintain a fake sense of peace. Try saying this, just once. I'm not going to apologize for you being upset when I didn't do anything wrong. If she loses her mind, good. That's your proof she never loved you. She loved control. A man who lives in fear of emotions isn't a man anymore. He's a puppet in a suit. Knows how to make money but doesn't know how to say no. He's lost his most valuable freedom, the right to be himself, without fear of judgment or emotional punishment. Want a real relationship? Choose a woman who takes responsibility for her own emotions. One who can say, I'm upset, but I don't blame you. I just need a little space. Not the one who says, I'm upset because of you, and then leaves you to spiral in your own overthinking. No one can manipulate you unless you give them the power to. Take your emotional sovereignty back. Walk away if you have to. Because living true to yourself beats spending your life in an emotional prison built just for you by your girlfriend. She's beautiful. She knows how to pose. She knows which angle makes people stop scrolling, which outfit will make the likes skyrocket. Every meal is a photo op. Every date is a love story posted on her story with the caption, "Finally found my person." But the truth is, the person she loves isn't you. It's the attention from strangers. Harsh? It gets worse. She doesn't need a partner. She needs an audience. You're just a supporting actor in the online show where she plays both director and leading lady. If you're not available, she'll recast the role, as long as her content stays engaging and her follower count stays up. And you, your feelings, your value, your privacy, are just props. With this kind of woman, you slowly lose your sense of privacy. There are no more intimate moments. Every kiss, every hug, every conversation can be recorded, snapped, and posted. Not because it means something, but because it gets engagement. Your relationship becomes a personal branding campaign. And no matter who you are, you're just part of the campaign. At first, you think it's sweet. She's proud of us. She wants the world to see our happiness. But that's the trap. Because real happiness doesn't need to be uploaded daily. Happy people live in the moment, not through a screen. She'll take photos when you give her flowers, but won't say thank you. She'll post a picture of your hands intertwined, but pull away the second no one's watching. And when you argue, she won't talk to you. She'll post a cryptic line like, "Sometimes silence is the loudest heartbreak," and wait to see how many likes and DMs roll in. You're not in love. You're in a competition to see who can perform happiness better on social media. And in that game, you don't stand a chance. Worse yet, she can't stop the virtual life. Because it's her only source of self-worth. Social media is the only place she feels validated, desired. In real life, she has no direction, no depth. Talk to her for 10 minutes, and you'll feel empty. But every photo is filtered, every caption curated. The danger is, you'll start feeling like you're not enough, because strangers are always praising her, and you, her actual boyfriend, are being compared to internet simps. All these people say I'm a goddess. Why don't you? You're trapped. If you don't care, you're cold. If you get jealous, you're controlling. If you want to live in the real world, you're boring. And her? She's always right, because the crowd backs her up with likes, comments, and shares. If you're not grounded, you'll eventually turn into the perfect prop. You'll learn when to smile, when to post sweet captions, when to play the perfect boyfriend role. And in doing so, you'll lose your identity. You won't be a man anymore, just another background character in her fantasy life. Getting out isn't easy, because this type always knows how to make you feel guilty. She'll say you're unsupportive, don't appreciate her work, or refuse to grow together. But be honest. What does growth mean here? Continuing to fake a glamorous life and trading your freedom for attention from strangers? A woman who truly loves you would rather live with you than post about you. She values private moments over public performance. She knows real love doesn't need validation from views and likes. And you, if there's still some backbone left in you, walk away before your entire emotional life ends up being live streamed. Live in the real world and love someone who does the same. Not a queen who lives through lenses and the illusion of digital worship. Most people quit before they ever learn the biggest lesson. But if you're still watching, I know you're different. Hit subscribe, like, and let's go all the way together. She might be cute, fun, friendly, able to talk for hours without running out of things to say. But after a few weeks, a few months, even a few years, you realize something chilling. She has no idea who she is or what she's living for. Ask her about her goals, she dodges. Ask about her passions, she changes the subject. Ask about the future, she gives a half laugh. We'll see what happens. At first, it might seem charming, a free spirit living in the moment. But over time, that freedom turns out to be nothing more than an excuse to avoid responsibility. She hops from job to job. This month she's in marketing, next month she's trying nails, then it's tarot readings, then launching a healing TikTok channel. There's nothing wrong with trying things. The problem is, she never sticks to anything. Everything's just a trend, a moment of inspiration. When it gets hard, she quits. When she's bored, she bails. That lifestyle is a clear sign of someone drifting. No direction, no foundation, no commitment. And if you get involved with someone like that, you'll get pulled into the same aimless state, because someone with no destination will always slow down the one who's trying to move forward. You'll be the one making the plans, carrying the weight, taking on all the financial, mental, and future responsibilities for the both of you. Every major decision will fall on your shoulders, because she doesn't know what she wants. Every time you ask, "What do you think?" the answer is, "Up to you." Sounds trusting, but it's really just avoiding partnership. Someone without goals can't respect yours. She won't understand why you work late, why you need silence, why you plan 5 years ahead. When you're building a disciplined life, she'll try to drag you into random outings, impulsive spending, and living in the moment, then blame you for not being fun anymore. And that's when the inner conflict begins. On one side is your responsibility, your goals, ideals, career. On the other is her sulking face and your guilt over not spending enough time with her. If you're weak, you'll fold. You'll shrink your goals to preserve the relationship. You'll trade growth for temporary peace. And one day, you'll look back and realize you've been standing still. Or worse, sliding backwards. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Life isn't short, but we waste it." Nothing is more wasteful than sharing your time, energy, and youth with someone who doesn't know what they're living for. Because someone who doesn't know what they want will make you guess all the time. And when you guess wrong, she'll get mad. When you guess right, she still won't know what to do next. Leaving a woman like this isn't about looking down on her. It's about choosing the right person for the long haul. She doesn't have to be successful, but she needs a direction. She doesn't have to be perfect, but she needs discipline. She doesn't have to make you rich, but she can't be a mental burden. Real love isn't just emotion. It's alignment between two people with direction. If you're someone building a better life day by day, the person beside you should at least know what she wants. So the two of you can walk together, not with you dragging her behind. Be clear-headed. Don't let a cute face and a chill personality blind you. The comfort of the present can burn down your future if you walk beside someone who never moves forward. She doesn't love you, she loves what you can give her. Her affection comes with no responsibility, no sacrifice, no sharing, only expectations, demands, and exploitation. It might sound harsh, but it's the truth that many men don't want to face. Some women enter your life not to build, but to drain. At first, everything seems normal. She's sweet, charming, affectionate, always happy when you show her attention. But over time, you notice an unspoken rule. If you stop giving, stop spending money, stop driving her around, stop ordering food, stop buying gifts, she becomes cold, distant, irritable. Her emotions don't come from love, they come from the material value you provide. And when that value drops, the affection disappears with it. She won't outright say, "I love you because you have money." No one's that stupid. She'll dress up her dependency in phrases that sound reasonable. "I need to feel taken care of. A man should be responsible. You make me feel unappreciated." All just flowery language to cover one brutal truth. This relationship is one way. You're the one paying the price, not just in money, but in time, energy, and sacrifice. And her, she's always in the role of the one being served. You have to prove your love through actions. She just sits back and receives, and if you stop giving, she'll use the most subtle weapon to keep you in line: guilt. She won't yell, she'll sulk, go quiet, avoid you, then drop a dagger of a line like, "You've changed." Hurts, doesn't it? Of course it does. But the truth is she never loved you. She loved the role you played, the man who gives without limits. This kind of woman never asks if you're okay, never says, "Do you need anything from me?" When you're exhausted, she'll accuse you of being distant. When you're broke, she'll say, "I don't feel secure." And when you fail, she'll vanish, quietly, without regret. Because what she loved no longer exists. You think that's love? It's not. It's a disguised emotional transaction. You think you're in a relationship, but really, you're hiring someone to play the role of a girlfriend at an insanely high price. Your freedom, your self-respect, and sometimes your career. If you're a man, you shouldn't live like a talking ATM. You can give, but it has to come from choice, not fear that if I don't, she'll leave. A woman worth loving is one who'll walk with you when you have nothing, who doesn't demand, who doesn't keep score. And when you have everything, she's still there. Not for what you own, but for who you are. So what's the solution? Set boundaries. Stop spending money, time, and effort like it's your duty. Let her show her true colors. If the moment you stop giving, she stops loving, you've got your answer. Don't cling to someone who only knows how to take, because the more you give, the more they want. And greed has no end. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be cold, but it does teach you this: a wise man doesn't burn himself out for things that bring no spiritual value. Don't give so much that you forget who you are. Don't love so blindly that you become a tool for someone else's emotional appetite. And above all, don't fool yourself into thinking loving a taker is noble. It's just foolish. A taker will drain you dry and walk away like you never existed. And you, if you're not sharp, will spend years trying to rebuild what you once mistook for love. At first, you might think she's just genuine. Someone who's real, who doesn't hide her feelings. When she's mad, she says it. When she's sad, she cries. When she doesn't like something, she shows it right away. But over time, you realize a painful truth. Even the smallest things can blow up into a storm. One late reply, one careless comment, one glance at the wrong time. That's all it takes for her to explode, break down crying, throw a fit, or go silent in that emotionally violent way. And you, in an effort to avoid conflict, start learning to hold back. You filter your words, analyze your actions, even reshape yourself to absurd levels, just to keep her calm. But that calm is fragile as hell. She can flip moods in an instant, laughing in the morning, snapping at noon, getting jealous in the evening, and sobbing at midnight because she feels abandoned. Everything you do, no matter how harmless, can be twisted, misread, and blown out of proportion. Not because you're terrible, but because she can't control herself. You're no longer living on your own terms. You're constantly tense, nervous if your message is seen but not replied to, anxious if she misses 3 calls, bracing yourself every time you need to say something she doesn't want to hear, even if it's the truth. Sound familiar? That's a toxic relationship disguised as deep love. But really, it's just the outcome of one person who never learned emotional maturity, and another person, you, who keeps cleaning up the wreckage of that impulsiveness day after day. You think you're loving someone deep, but what you're really doing is trying to manage a ticking time bomb without knowing where the fuse is. Every day, you walk a tightrope. Every move must be measured. You don't get to be yourself. You're playing a role, the role of the man who can never slip up. Worst of all, you start doubting yourself. Am I really that insensitive? Am I not good enough? Do I deserve the blame? No, you're just stuck with someone who uses negative emotions as a tool to control others. And if you're not careful, you'll get reshaped into a weak, fearful version of yourself who's always compromising. A woman who can't control herself will never be capable of building a healthy relationship. She might be madly in love with you today, and the next moment she's smashing things, cursing you out, or disappearing for days because of something you said. You call it passionate love. But in truth, it's an addiction to emotional intensity, unstable and destructive. And the more you tolerate, the more she believes she's entitled. She'll repeat the behavior and expect you to clean it up. But one day, you'll snap. You'll lose control. You'll become just like her, angry, exhausted, and disillusioned. The solution? From the beginning, pay attention to how she reacts to the little things. Not when she's happy, but when she's displeased. A woman with emotional intelligence will step back, stay calm, and talk things through. The one who can't control herself will turn every disagreement into a battlefield, and you're the frontline soldier. Stoicism doesn't teach you to judge people, but it teaches you to choose who's worth walking with. If someone can't master themselves, they'll never be able to build anything with you. Marriage, career, life, they all require mental stability, and she doesn't have it. Love is not an emotional roller coaster, and a man is not a punching bag for someone else's rage, tears, and post-meltdown hugs. Walk away before you lose your edge, your logic, and your inner peace. She's beautiful, so beautiful you can't take your eyes off her. Every time she smiles, the whole room lights up. Wherever you take her, eyes follow, and you feel proud, feel lucky to have someone like her. But after a few months, you're hit with a chilling realization. You're in love with a face, not a person. She doesn't know how to listen. Any conversation that isn't about her, she tunes out. Any sentence that doesn't praise her, she goes cold. Talk about books, she gets sleepy. Talk about politics, society, purpose, she just gives you a blank smile. The only thing she's genuinely interested in is her own image. And you're slowly turning into a spectator of the one-woman show that is her looks-driven, content-free life. You try pulling her into deeper conversations. She nods half-heartedly, then drags you back to the surface. Lipsticks, outfits, which celebrity just broke up. And if you can't keep up, she labels you dry, too old, not fun enough. You're frustrated, but you don't speak up. Because her beauty still holds you. She knows it, and she uses it as a shield. Every time you're mad, all it takes is a smile, a hair flip, a soft pout, and you melt. But soon after, it all goes back to the same place, emptiness. The most dangerous thing about this kind of woman is that she makes you forget your own standards. You lower your expectations. You convince yourself, as long as she's loyal, as long as she stays with me. You used to be a man of depth, with ideals, with clear standards for a life partner. But now you're just trying to keep a pretty face from walking away. And then you start changing. You buy expensive clothes just to match her vibe. You stop hanging out with friends to accommodate her pointless plans. You put your education and self-development on hold because you're scared she'll find you boring. You're not yourself anymore. You're a customized version, designed to please someone who has nothing to offer but physical beauty. Stoicism teaches, what is not lasting is not worth trusting. Beauty fades. Physical attraction is a limited asset. But inner emptiness, that's a bottomless pit. Someone can look like a goddess, but if her soul is filled with apathy and selfishness, you'll live in loneliness, even while lying right next to her. You won't have a partner. You'll have someone who consumes admiration, and you're just one of her long-term followers. You'll feel empty when you try to share anything serious. You'll feel drained from having to constantly generate excitement just to keep her attention. A mature, deep, and inwardly valuable woman will help you grow. But a woman who only has looks will drain you, because you'll always be compensating for her spiritual vacuum. If you still think you got lucky landing a beautiful woman, remember this: no one gets lucky and stays happy for long. Lasting happiness comes from shared values, mutual thinking, and growing together. No one can endure long-term boredom, not even if it comes in the form of a perfect face. Wake up. Her beauty might intoxicate you at first, but it's the emptiness behind it that will kill you, piece by piece. And you'll find yourself trapped inside a beautiful shell, cold, lonely, and with nothing left to hold on to but pretty pictures. Thank you for being here. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, turn on notifications, and like this video. Don't forget to leave a comment so we can spread positivity together.